Hey everyone, I'm Ben Barry, and I'm one of the judges for Kouture, New York. Day in the life is really fun. I spend my day meeting our faculty at Parsons, seeing our students and their work, and imagining how we can always create the most innovative curriculum. But the best part of my day, my favorite part of my day, is walking through all of the studios and seeing what the students make. Their work is always just incredibly inspiring. In New York, the sidewalk is the runway. People are all about individuality, and they wear exactly what they feel like wearing. So I'm Canadian, and I grew up in Ottawa, which is the capital of Canada, and it's known for having the longest outdoor skating rink in the world. My first job was a modeling agent. When I was 14, I started a modeling agency in my family's basement to help one of my friends who was told she was too big to be a model. And so I sent her photos off to a local magazine. They hired her, and I started a modeling agency. And it was a modeling agency focused on diversity. I think as soon as I was born, I knew that I loved fashion. I knew I loved creating, I loved appearance, I loved making looks. And I would take everything that was possible around my house, tea towels, paper towel, and turn them into clothes for all of my stuffed animals. I was probably 2 or 3 at this point, but immediately I knew that I was destined to be in this world. The first design I ever made, and this is an infamous story in my family, was a plastic wrap dress. So I took plastic wrap from the kitchen, I put it all around my body, and I created a look that could be shown on any fashion runway. I was probably about 6 years old at this point. I would tell young Ben Barry to always be himself. Don't worry about what the world tells you to be, but listen to who you are and let that be you in this world. I think the biggest misconception about the fashion industry is that people are mean, that they have attitude, that it's not welcoming. What I found being in fashion is that there is an incredibly loving, supportive, and generous community. And it's that community that creates the industry. I feel my biggest fashion fail was probably trying to mimic the Backstreet Boys looks. And I would wear that all the time thinking I was very cool. But looking back at photos, definitely did not work for me. I miss tearaway pants because who doesn't love a good reveal? There's not really a fashion trend I hope never comes back because I think everything can be fashionable. I think you're the most fashionable person right now. How you decide to style yourself every day, that makes you incredibly fashionable. My 3 tips to incorporate sustainable fashion into your everyday life is use the pieces you already have in your wardrobe. 2, take them apart. And 3, remake them, put them together in a completely new style. I think the biggest fashion moment is and will be celebrating the legacy of Virgil Abloh. I think his impact on fashion in creating a pathway for so many young people, particularly Black young people, to be at the center of the industry, to take fields that are totally disconnected from fashion and apply them to fashion, and to take fashion design sensibilities and show how they bear on so many fields will forever be his legacy. He was a truly empowering and inspiring designer. And I think this year will be about recognizing and celebrating the impact that he's forever made on fashion. The future of fashion looks like inclusivity. The biggest risk I've ever taken is daring to be myself and to show up every day as myself in this world. I'm really excited to see so many boys and so many people who maybe haven't ever seen themselves within fashion sign up to be part of Kouture. Because fashion has no gender, fashion is for everybody. I wanted to explore masculinity in fashion because so often fashion creates a very narrow idea of what it means to be masculine and to look masculine. And I wanted to create a project that showed how people challenge and infinitely expanded that definition in their everyday life through how they put clothes together. I like to change my outfit every day because I think that's the fun of fashion and being alive. And so every day I try to pick something different or put it together in a completely new way. Oh, the most extravagant thing I've ever worn was this floor-length, black sequined, cape-like dress, maybe? But it was amazing. It was like this cape, it was sequins, it was sparkly, it was a total dream. No, this is gonna be my very first time seeing your work and what you create out of everyday junk. We've often been told a very narrow story of fashion, that fashion was born in Milan or in Paris, that fashion looks a very particular way for a very particular body. And the truth is that fashion has existed since time immemorial. What fashion is expansive, is infinite, and is something that all of our families, no matter where we're from, has always practiced. And so part of this competition is celebrating that true plurality of fashion in all of its beautiful expression. When I hear climate change, I think the world is on fire. And I think that we can't address climate change without addressing the ways in which that's so connected to racism and other forms of discrimination. I think when we think of fashion, we know that it has a dangerous impact on the environment and on our well-being. But we also have to think about the ways in which some of the most affordable clothes are primarily sold and targeted towards communities who have the least amount of money because of systemic barriers of discrimination. And I think that when we think about how inexpensive clothing is marketed towards particular groups, that unsustainable clothing is only available at particular price points, we have to understand the ways climate change, forms of discrimination are infinitely connected. I think the winning design will tell a story. Fashion isn't just about creating something beautiful, helping someone feel incredible in their body, at home in their body, but telling a story about you, telling a story about our world, using fashion as narrative. And that's what I'm really excited to know about in the winning design. I think that there's so much stigma on men who want to express themselves, who want to experiment, who want to play with fashion, because fashion has been gendered as something that's feminine. And as a result, many men are taught from the time they're born that they have to dress in ways that don't necessarily express who they are. And so part of the change that we need to make is creating a world where all people can wear whatever they want to wear that makes them feel at home in their bodies. My biggest inspiration are the students who I teach every day. Seeing the innovation they create, the stories they're telling through fashion, that inspires me and gives me so much hope to be in this field. The best piece of advice I've ever received: failure is not trying. The best fashion tip I've picked up is wear something that makes you feel good. Not what the fashion media tell you, not what you see in popular culture, not even what your friends or families tell you to wear. Wear something that makes you feel confident and make you feel secure in your body. My top 3 tips. 1, draw from your lived histories and experiences. That is fashion knowledge. 2, tell a story. Fashion isn't just about aesthetic, it's about narrative. What story do you want to tell? And 3, think about how your designs can work for different bodies. Fashion isn't only for a size 4 or a size 6. How can your design work for someone who's a size 18, a size 22 and up? Create truly size-inclusive fashion. Inspired.